welcome on into another episode of Getting Wild with Terry and Friends. I'm Terry, that's Ryan, and we are ready to break down some Thursday NHL. 12 games on the slate. We have a huge pack slate, so we will jump right into the first game right away. The Nashville Predators and the Montreal Canadiens. You can get Nashville minus 170 to minus 180. Montreal is plus 145 to plus 155, 6.5s right across the board. I took a shot with Nashville at a plus price yesterday. Unfortunately, it did not come true, and I have been known to blame the referees in the past, but that was a correct 4-minute penalty. It was a high stick. It was a correct call. So I can't blame the referees for Nashville's loss because it was the player's own choice or own mistake of hitting the Leafs player in the face. And he bled, so that's a 4-minute power play, as much as I would like to not wanting that to happen. But so Predators money line lost. But Philip Forsberg, anytime goal, plus 200. That didn't lose. UC Parsonen to get an assist at plus 150. That didn't lose. And you're going to hear me say this multiple times on today's show, but if it ain't broke, don't fix it. I'm going right back to it. Forsberg has scored in 6 of his last 8 games. Parsonen has an assist in his last 4 games. While Forsberg has been hot, so is Parsonen. I don't see against this Montreal defense and the Montreal goaltending. I think there's tons of value on it. I believe I got Forsberg at plus 160. I'll bring it up here. I don't really have an opinion on the side. Obviously, I like Nashville, but being on the back-to-back, I could see an instance where maybe Montreal pulls off some kind of upset here. So I'm not betting the side, but I'm right back to Forsberg and Parsonen. Ryan, what do you think here? First game of the night, Nashville and Montreal.
Well, nice calling the props for this game. There's a handful of totals that I like on the board, and this is one of them. I don't have a great memory, but I do remember the last time these two teams played, which was roughly 10 days ago. And it was in Nashville, and basically Nashville took care of business. They went up early and won the game, and the over cashed in the second period. So I'm on the over in this game. It's a 6.5. The thing is that, you could, if you had cojones, you could do a live 5.5, but Montreal likes to give up goals real early. So I'm just going to play the 6.5 before the game. I think Nashville wins this. I think they take care of it. I think there are potentially some good prop looks. Cole Caulfield will probably score in this game. It's not a great price, but he does well at home, and he did well in that game. So I think that's a good look. A couple of props that aren't in my books are Cody Glass, who's playing well, and Nick Novak, and both, in that game as well, they performed well. So a lot of ways to look at this, and I like the over 6.5.
All right, yes, Cody Glass had some nice opportunities for sure. He had a very nice shot, especially last night. Gundam Atticus says we need more Andy. Yes, I haven't had Andy on for a long time. I have sent out some invites, but he's a very busy guy. But hopefully one day this season we'll have Andy back on the show. But we will jump right into the next game. And that is Winnipeg Jets and the Buffalo Sabres. You can get Winnipeg minus 130 to minus 135. Buffalo plus 110 to plus 116. 6.5s right across the board in this one. And ultimately, this is a game that I passed on. It's a big slate. I like a lot of games here. If you had asked me maybe a week ago, I would have said 100% I'm on the Sabres money line in the spot, plus money. But sorry, Tim, close your ears. I don't like what I've seen from the Sabres in their last few games. If the Sabres come to play tonight and give their best effort, they can definitely win this game. But the Sabres have shown at times that they don't. It appears as if they're not putting in their best effort. in some nights. So I don't know if Buffalo is going to show up or not to this game, but I hope they do because Winnipeg, obviously Minnesota is fighting Winnipeg for the division title along with Dallas. So obviously I'm rooting for Buffalo in this game, but I can't put my money on it. You obviously could look at Tage Thompson, anytime goal, but he's been kind of cooled off a little bit as of late compared to what he was doing previously. So this game is ultimately a pass. If you wanted something in this game, a parlay piece would be Pierre-Luc Dubois to get a point. He has points in 7 straight games. And maybe you could look at something with Kyle Connor. But nothing for me in this game. And then Buffalo side, it would be Alex Tuck to get a point. Ryan, Winnipeg, Buffalo. What do you think of this one?
Yeah, I'm going to take a stab on Winnipeg here. They had a rough game against Detroit, and I'm going to choose to look past that. I'm not going to really take that as a data point. Detroit went up early. Winnipeg looked like they were the better team in that game and sort of chased them the whole game, but never really caught up. I just think that they're playing well, and I'm going to look past that road loss with Winnipeg, and I'm going to take them as a slight underdog here against Buffalo. It's roughly minus 130 in my book. The Sabres haven't had a regulation win since December 29th, so I agree they're not playing their best hockey, and I just think that I'm going to go with the team that's in better form, which is Jets.
All right. We will move on along to the next one here. This is going to be one of the best games of the night. One of them. We have the Dallas Stars and the New York Rangers in this one. You can get Dallas anywhere from plus 100 to plus 108. New York Rangers are minus 120 to minus 130. 5.5s right across the board in this one. We have at least another game with 5.5s as well on the slate tonight. I'm taking Dallas here at plus 105. They are 6-2 in their last 8 games, obviously coming off a shootout win against the Islanders. Rangers are 4-0-1 in their last 5 games, coming off a shootout win against the Wild. I have to say, Marc-Andre Fleury, I have defended him numerous times, but I can't defend his game in the shootout against the Rangers. The poke check he tried to do against Panarin was an awful decision. But the Rangers won in the shootout because of Fleury not playing well in that shootout part of the game. Dallas 4-1 in their last 5 trips to Madison Square Garden. They've had success there. Jake Ottinger confirmed to be a net in this one. I would not be surprised if we got overtime in this game. So if you want to look at the draw at a big plus price, you can get it for plus 327, plus 340. That could be potentially be a look here in this one. But for me, it's Dallas money line at plus money on the road. Ryan, what do you think here? Dallas Stars, New York Rangers.
Yeah, I'm on the other side, and there's no trends here. There's really the thing that for me is the eye test, and I thought the Rangers kind of played the Wild. They played really tough against the Wild and played the better game. There were stretches where Minnesota looked good, but I was impressed by what I saw from the Rangers, and it was from surprising sources. It wasn't really their Kreider, Panarin. It wasn't their normal offense. It was Fox that was the guy that was sort of leading the team in the offense. And I'm going to look to him for a prop. He's roughly plus 400 to score a goal, and he nearly had 2 in that game. So I like that. I also thought Dallas didn't play that great against the Islanders. Rupe Hintz is out and Sagan is in that top line, and I just don't think they've quite clicked yet. And I think the Rangers coming on a long home stretch, I like them, and I think this is one of my favorite plays of the night. As the Rangers, as it was a roughly minus 120 as a home favorite.
All right, yeah, minus 120 to minus 130, depending on which book you have access to. Richie says, yeah, it would be no surprise to see overtime here. I think yes, Dallas is known for overtime. Especially last year. They went into overtime a lot last year. we will move on along to the next one here. Let me bring that comment down. The next game here is Toronto Maple Leafs and the Detroit Red Wings. You can get Toronto minus 138 to minus 145 or minus 154, sorry. Detroit plus 120 to plus 128. 6.5s. You can get a 6 if you go over to DraftKings in this one. And I don't have a good feel for this game. Toronto has had Detroit's number, especially this year. But on the back-to-back in this one, Toronto showed last night they can win without Matthews. But like I said, it was a very close game until the penalty at the end of the game. So I'm not going to try to force a play here. I think the Leafs probably win this one, but I'm not putting my money on it. Ryan, Red Wings and Leafs, what do you think here?
I'm in agreement. I have no feel for this game either. I just don't. I think Toronto probably wins also, but I'm not playing it. I'm not involved.
All right, lots of games on the slate. You definitely don't have to get involved in every game. And we'll move on to the next one where we've got a big favorite. You can get Carolina minus 312 to minus 355. Columbus is plus 260 to plus 275. 6.5s right across the board. And this one, if you watch the Ice Guys, I said in the chat, I believe it was yesterday, that Carolina and Colorado are two teams that I am looking to fade at this moment with just their recent play. Carolina's been playing well. They just haven't been getting the results. And Colorado are also finding ways to lose. And immediately everyone in the chat, or not everyone, but a few people in the chat were like, you can't fade them, not tomorrow. And yes, obviously here we are, Carolina, a big favorite against this Columbus team. This Columbus Blue Jackets team did just beat Carolina a few games ago. But I'm not taking Columbus here. But I'm sure as hell not taking Carolina. It sounds like Freddie Anderson may be making his return to the net. He's been off since November with injury. Who knows what we're going to get from him? I can't back a team minus 125 on the puck line with a goaltender that I don't know what to expect from him, and the fact that Carolina is on a long losing streak. So I have no interest in backing Carolina in the game. The over, I would have liked the over if Merzlikins was in this a little bit more. Korpisalo has shown the ability to stand on his head at times, and at least maybe not stand on his head, but at least not let the game get out of control, as some of Merzlikins' starts have. But I have a player prop in this game. I'm taking Max Pacioretty anytime goal. He has scored 3 goals in his 3 games since returning from his long injury from the preseason. 2 games he scored, 1 goal, 1 game he didn't. I think he gets on the board here against Columbus. So I like Pacioretty anytime goal, which I got for plus 120. Ryan, what do you think here? Carolina, Columbus, one of the big favorites of the day. What do you think?
Yeah, this is really hard to cap. On one hand, you have Columbus who beat Carolina very recently. You have one kind of trending over team in Carolina and an under team in Columbus. I'm staying off of this. The only thing I'm considering is if Anderson starts, I may look at the Columbus team total 2.5. It just seems doable for them. But right now, I'm haven't gotten to the window in this game.
All right. Yeah, normally with a minus 300 favorite and a big slate, I would say no reason, or I would say that normally I would want to pass in that one, but player props have been going really well for me. So I'm going to take Pacioretty. And then speaking of player props that have been going well for me, we'll discuss this game here. We have the Seattle Kraken and the Boston Bruins. You can get Seattle plus 190, plus 200. Boston minus 225 to minus 250. 6s. I do see 6.5 at Betway in this game. Okay, so this I've said multiple times on the show. I do not want to fade Boston. Why would you want to? They're 32-4-4 in the year. They are the best team in the NHL. But then the time came when Buffalo came into Boston. Buffalo was a plus 220, I think, dog in that one. And I said, the way Buffalo's playing right now, they're too hot. They should not be this big of an underdog. And they got the win in that one. Now Seattle's coming in here red hot. They are the best team in the league on the road in scoring. Huge difference from last year, but the Kraken focused on this. This was one of the things they focused on in the offseason, especially was their play on the road. And they have done so well this year. They are 14-4-2 on the road. Boston is coming off a California trip. So I get it. People have said Seattle's on this long 7-game road trip. They played a lot of games on the road. This isn't a good spot for them. But I would say that coming off a 3-game sweep of the California teams, this is their first game back home. I believe they've had 2 days off in between the game. But I don't think this is a very good spot for Boston. I think this is way too high of a price for the Kraken. I'm on the Kraken money line, plus 200. I'm also on Vince Dunn to get a point. You can also get him for an assist, which is at like plus 2 something. I went a little bit safer with the point because I am going heavier in this game than I expected. So plus 124 to get a point. He has been getting mostly assists, but Vince Dunn has also been scoring as well. I took Jordan Eberle to get a point at plus 132. Andre Burakovsky to get a point at plus 113. And then the main player, the guy that I've cashed on his last 4 games, all over plus 200 of a price, Matthew Beniers, anytime goal, which I got for plus 275, but you can get it for anywhere from plus 250 to plus 325 or plus 350. I think that's a lot of disrespect to a guy that is scoring every game in his last 5 games. And he was born in Boston. So not only when I look for player props, most of the time I'm trying to take a player that's hot, that's scoring a lot at that time. But there are situational spots like the Shane Wright anytime goal where I am focusing on a player. And honestly, I won't try to say that I'm on Beniers here because he's from Boston. I did actually find out after the fact, or I realized, thanks to somebody on Twitter, that he is a Boston boy. But he is extremely hot right now, scoring in his last 5 games, and I love him here at plus 275 in this one. And I love the Kraken as a big plus price underdog in this one. Ryan, you are a Kraken fan. You must be happy with what you're seeing right now because I sure am. What do you think here, Kraken and Bruins?
Yeah, it's really exciting. And they're really killing it, and it's been a lot of fun. I don't like to bet on the Kraken for them or against them. So I'll give you some thoughts on this game. I am on Matty Beniers. He's, and I think this all started when Hackstall changed the lines, and there's just guys that he gels with, and it seems like Burakovsky he really gels with. So I'm on Beniers on that prop. Another prop is Eli Tolvanen. This guy just came out of nowhere. They got him off of waivers, and he just basically scores every game. So as far as the game itself, this could be like a playoff game. I understand that they're in different conferences, but Boston's probably going to be contending for the President's Trophy. They'll probably see this upstart team and probably want to have a big game against them. I think they get up for this, and I think the Kraken get up for this. I think they want to, they want to prove how, that they're for real and that they are a contender. So I think this could have the feel of a playoff game, and I don't think it'll be pond hockey like we've seen on some of these other Kraken game on the road trip. So I have a slight lean to the under. I'll be rooting for the Kraken, and I'm on Matty Beniers.
All right. I just did want to check one thing here. Yes, Tim, your statement here is incorrect. This is not the last game of the road trip for Seattle. They do have one more in Chicago before trip is over before they head home. But we will move into the next game here, and that is the Vancouver Canucks and the Tampa Bay Lightning. You can get Vancouver anywhere from plus 220 to plus 230. Tampa Bay Lightning minus 263 to minus 280, 6.5s right across the board. And I'm on the over 6.5 in this one. I like goals here, and I'm also on Braden Point anytime goal plus 120. The Canucks have struggled mightily keeping the puck out of the net most of the season. Even Thatcher Demko had such a great season last year. He was awful pretty much the whole year. Spencer Martin had that stretch where he was good at the beginning, but he sure cooled off. And then Colin Delia, who will be in net today, he has played well. But this is not a good spot for him coming into Tampa with this Canucks defense in front of him. So I like Tampa Bay here as a side. I'm not on them other than Braden Point to score. But shout out to Jarek Rubel on Twitter as well. He let me know, or he mentioned about Vancouver's penalty kill, which is just god-awful. But Tampa Bay also has a great power play. So you might want to look at power play props in this one if you so choose. Ryan, what do you think here? Canucks and Lightning.
No play for me on this one. I think the price is shocking. That Vancouver, it's gotten to this point where they're, plus 220 against Tampa Bay. It's a fair price, but it's shocking to me because I thought they would be playoff contenders, and their season has not gone the way we thought. My recollection, didn't Delia get pulled in his last game? I could be getting that wrong, but I don't really have a lot of faith that he's going to do well. There might be some value on Vancouver just because the price has really gotten inflated here, but I'm not playing. I'm not involved.
All right. Is that I didn't check Boston's schedule, but if they have the Leafs on deck, which is what you're saying here, and that's true. They have the Leafs on Saturday, so hey, that's definitely a potential that they're looking ahead to Toronto. Les Man says Kraken will be up. Don't think Bruins so much, but Boston will do what Boston does in his score. If you want to look at the total, you could for sure. Peter says God loves you. Isaac says he did get pulled. Yes. I guess obviously his last start he wasn't good in, but he'd played pretty well previous to that for a Vancouver goaltender, that is. Moving on to the game that I'll be watching tonight, we have the Minnesota Wild and the New York Islanders. You can get the Wild minus 110 to minus 117, New York minus 104 to minus 110. 5.5s and 6s now starting to open up around the different books. I'm very, very torn in this game when it comes to the total. It'll be Sorokin against Gustafsson. Gustafsson has similar numbers to Sorokin on the year. Both of them playing very well for the most part. I would lean with the under, especially a 6 at minus 118 to bet Victor. As tempted as I am to bet that, when Minnesota and New York face each other, for some reason the games tend to be high scoring. So that's the one thing that's kind of keeping me off. It screams under with how these two teams have played for the most part, and especially at the Islanders' offense lately. They have failed to score more than 2 goals in 4 of their last 5, all losses. So if Minnesota is able to score 2 or 3 goals, then they should be able to win this one. Minnesota swept the Islanders last year. The Wild have obviously lost 3 in a row. Could have won that game against New York if that shootout went differently, but it is what it is. I think the Wild bounce back here at a good price on the road against the Islanders. Ryan, Wild, Islanders, what do you think here?
Well, I'm going to do it. I'm going to take this under. I just, the way that the Islanders have been playing unders, The Wild aren't scoring the way that they're capable of. I just think this game goes under, and I have faith in both goaltenders. So I think there's value. I don't have any sixes available to me, so I'm looking at a 5.5 at plus money. But I may shop around and see what I can find. And the other thing I like is, if I'm a believer in the under, you wouldn't think that it'd be a good prop game for me, but I'm going to take a look at some of these. And a lot of what the Islanders do is they just like to throw the puck on the net and try to gather up the rebounds and put them in. So the defensemen put up a ton of shots on the Islanders. So I'm looking at some of these defensemen on the Islanders to put up shots. Noah Dobson over 2.5 shots at minus 130, and Ryan Pulak over 1.5 shots at plus 110. Another guy that may be worth looking at for a goal prop is JG Pajot. He was pretty close in the last game against Dallas to score, so I think he may be worth a look here. And it really is. When you play a defenseman prop, it's like a lottery ticket. You can't really expect a defenseman to score night in, night out. So it's worth, Noah Dobson as a goal prop, it's worth a shot. He's putting pucks on net on a consistent basis. So I'm looking at shot props mostly, but I may sprinkle on some goal props for this game, and I like the
under. All right. We'll move on along to the next game where I definitely don't like the under. You have the Calgary Flames and the St. Louis Blues. You can get Calgary minus 161 to minus 172. St. Louis is plus 138 to plus 145. Sixes right across the board. I do see 5.5 in this game. I'm shooting myself. I did not bet the over when these two teams faced each other just a few games ago. I also didn't bet the over in the Carolina-New Jersey game. I had both written down, but tried to slow down the amount of plays I was doing, and that backfired as both overs cashed. When you look at these two teams, the games go over when they face each other. Calgary has gone over and obviously back-to-back 4-3 overtime losses. And Calgary 7-7-7 on the road. That's a very rough record. 7-7-7 obviously doesn't look that bad, but it's basically 7-14, which is pretty bad. They're lucky they've got the 7 points in overtime. St. Louis over 6.5 in 8 of their last 10 games. They are an over team. That's just the St. Louis Blues this year. They are an over team. And then when these two teams have faced each other, 5 of the last 6 meetings went over 6.5, and the one game that didn't go over 6.5 landed on 6. So I don't know why this game is a 6. I don't know why I got it at minus 125 last night, and now it's minus 105. So money is coming in, or minus 120, last night, and now it's minus 105. So people, it's obviously moving towards the under. And I don't see it. Apparently, it'll be Vladar against Grice, so it will be the two opposite goalies that it was in the last game. But I don't think that's going to mean too much. I like this game to go over. Brian, what do you think here? Oh, and I'm on 2 props on this one as well. Jordan Kyrou plus 200 anytime goal. Brandon Saad, who's been red hot as of late, plus 250 anytime goal. And if I had to play a side, it would sadly be the St. Louis Blues. They have won 7 of the last 8 meetings between the teams. So St. Louis would be a good dog spot if I had to make a bet on the side. Ryan, what do you think here? Flames and Blues.
I agree. I'm on the over as well, but I'm looking for a live over 5.5. When I see that 6 and 6.5 at plus money, that usually means you can get a 5.5 shortly after puck drop. So I think this is going to be a good candidate for that. There are some teams that occasionally get involved with, you occasionally see like a Carolina involved in 2-0 game, or an Ottawa involved in a real low scoring game. These are teams that don't. These are teams that get 5 goals or more. And the Blues obviously have quite the streak going for overs. I don't quite understand the price here. I think the Blues are stringing some wins together in spite of some of their injury issues. So I'm a little bit surprised at the price, but I like the over the best here.
All right. Yeah, Calgary just seems to be a little bit overpriced, at least in my opinion. Let's go Kraken picks. Says, welcome aboard the Kraken train, Terry. We welcome you with open arms, being your number one team now. First of all, I never said that. Yes, my picture on Twitter is of Matthew Beniers, but he deserves it for what he's done for me the last 4 games. But I'm not a Kraken fan. We all know where my loyalties lie. But the Kraken are making me money, so if I had to pick a second team right now, it would be the Kraken for sure. Richie says, why should I not go back to the Blues?
I agree.
Because I don't like them and I want them to lose. But no, yeah, there's no reason why you shouldn't really, unless looking at they just faced each other. That's a reason why I want it as well. I don't want to take a team that just won against a team and they're facing each other the next game. I feel like that's just a good bounce back spot for that team, but I'm definitely not on the Flames. I was thinking Saad earlier. Yeah, he's been hot. Plus 250 is really high for him. Jay Stone finds that funny. This guy is wild. Get it? But we'll move on along to the next game that we have on this slate. And we have another big favorite. That is the Colorado Avalanche, minus 320 to minus 350. Chicago, plus 260 to plus 270. Sixes and 6.5 available in this one. Don't look now. The Chicago Blackhawks have won 2 games in a row, and they're at home here against the all-powerful Colorado Avalanche, who aren't looking too all-powerful right now. I can't bet Chicago in this game as much as I'd like to, because I can't recommend somebody betting the Blackhawks, especially against Colorado. But I would not be surprised one little bit if Chicago is able to pull out a win here and shock the world. But I won't be on it. No plays for me in this game. This is definitely a pass spot. But seeing Chicago plus 1.5 plus money and seeing Chicago money line plus 270 is very tempting, but I'm not going to pull the trigger on it. Ryan, what do you think here? Colorado and Chicago.
Yeah, this is also a pass for me. I was looking to back this Avalanche team for a while, kind of hoping that they're going to get back into flow, and kind of gotten soured on them a bit. So this is going to be a pass.
All right, Jay Stone, obviously a Chicago fan. I've been sitting on this for a bit. I encourage the Colorado first period, Colorado regulation combo plus 155 at DK. It all lines up. Oz will come out firing after a poor start, and Mrazek is in net. That's exactly why I can't take Chicago as much as I can't believe I'm going to say this. As much as I'd like to bet Chicago, I just won't do it. No Chicago cash cow. No, not anymore. But we will go on to the next game. That's the Ottawa Senators and the Arizona Coyotes. You can get Ottawa minus 149 to minus 164. Arizona plus 130 to plus 136. 6.5s right across the board in this one. Another game that I didn't get to. Arizona just continues to lose. Their mojo that they had at home seems to have run out, and they're looking more like the team we all expected them to at the beginning of the year. Ottawa, not a team I want to back at minus 150 on the road, even if it's in Arizona. Ottawa, a team I'm not very high on. I definitely wasn't in the preseason as well, and I will pretty much only take them if they're plus money, which they aren't, obviously, in the spot. So this one is another pass for me. Ryan, what do you think here? Sens and Coyotes.
Yeah, I looked at this, and I ultimately didn't get involved in the side or the totals. Arizona's not playing very well right now. So I think there is, if you are going to fade the Coyotes, this is probably a good time to do it. But I'm with you. I don't want, this is not a price for the the Senators on the road that I want to invest in. I actually kind of like some of the props on the Coyotes. They the Senators, I noticed they give up points to defensemen, and the Coyotes have defensemen that can put pucks on the net and that can score goals. Jacob Chikrin at plus 325 and Shane Gostisbehere at plus 400. I also like this kid Barrett Hayton to score at plus 325. He's getting good looks, and I think that's a really good price for him. But I just don't have a feel for the side or the total. This could be a low-scoring game or it could be a high-scoring game.
All right. And we'll move into the final game of the night before we get to best bets. Florida Panthers and the Vegas Golden Knights. You can get Florida minus 105 to plus 105. Vegas is minus 115 to minus 120. 6.5s right across the board. I got Vegas money line at minus 130 last night. So obviously that's moved against me. I will be Aiden Hill in net for Vegas, but that doesn't really scare me. He has a better record, or he has better stats really than both of Florida's goaltenders this year. So obviously Thompson the better goaltender this year, but it doesn't really scare me that Hill is starting. Vegas 4-0 in their 4 games at home against Florida. Florida's never won in Vegas, including last year when they lost 5-3. Vegas has been off since Saturday. They are well rested in this one, coming off a disappointing 5-1 home loss to LA. Obviously, Vegas has been a rough home team this year, but previous to that LA game, they'd won 4 in a row at home. I think this is a Vegas spot. I don't really care that the lines moved against me. I would rebet it at minus 115 in this spot. And I'm also on Jack Eichel to score at plus 160. I think he gets on the board, and I think the Vegas Golden Knights win this one at home and go to 5-0 against Florida all time. Ryan, what do you think here? Panthers and Golden Knights.
Yeah, I have no play on this game. I may, I usually get involved in watching these late games, so I may do some more capping on this. And if I pick a side or some props, I'll put it on my Twitter account.
All right, awesome. And we'll move. The news for tomorrow. Obviously, the NFL playoff show is tomorrow, 6 p.m. Eastern. So 2 hours after the normal show time. And then the normal show will obviously be on as well, a small slate tomorrow. Best bets. My best bet, Washington minus 1.5, did not cash. My player prop best bet, Philip Forsberg plus 200, did cash. So that was nice. Looking at it today, my player prop, obviously, it's Matty Beniers. It's my favorite prop on the day, plus 275 to score. Or plus 300 or whatever you can get it at. So I will do that for my player prop best bet. And then my best bet, I don't know. I might just keep it at the player prop. But some people can't bet player props. So I'll go over 6 in Calgary, St. Louis. I think that total is a bit too high. Or I think the number should be a 6.5. That's what I mean. Sorry. So best bet for player prop is Matty Beniers, anytime goal. My second favorite would be Max Pacioretty, anytime goal. And then my favorite side/totals over in Calgary, St. Louis. Ryan, what do you think here for best bet or best bets? If you do like a prop as well, what do you think here?
Yeah, so my best bet is going to be the New York Rangers money line, which is roughly minus 120. I think they're playing really well right now. They're starting a long homestand. I think they're starting to get in gear. And Dallas isn't playing their best hockey. They've got a little mix up on the front, their first line. So that's my best bet. As far as a player prop, let me see. A couple that I gave out. I like Noah Dobson over 2.5 shots, which is minus 130 in my book. So that's my favorite prop.
All right. Awesome. And that is the big Thursday slate. Thanks to everybody watching. If you're watching on Twitter, come join us on YouTube. We'd love to have you in the live chat. Just search Getting Wild with Terry and Friends, or even Getting Wild should show up on the YouTube channel. If you are watching the YouTube channel, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button if you're new. Appreciate all the support, and we will see you again tomorrow, Friday, for 2 episodes. We'll have the normal show, and then we'll have the NFL preview show. Great show. Thanks. No problem. Thanks to you, Richie, for always watching. I sent you a DM wondering when you're going to make your Getting Wild debut, Richie. It would be awesome to have you on the show sometime. But best of luck to everybody on your bets tonight, and we'll see you again tomorrow for other episodes. Getting Wild with Terry and Friends. Best of luck, guys.